Oh my god, look at that view.
Planning a trip to Danang and don't know where to stay? I've got you covered. In this video, I'll take you inside 5 hotels. 3 are on the city side and 2 on the beach side. So by the end of this video, you should have a clear idea of where you might want to stay. Let's get into it. Let's start with the city center. The first hotel is M Village Danang Center. I chose it mainly for its location. It's just a short walk from Han Market, with plenty of cafes, restaurants, shops, and spas nearby, and it's just a couple of blocks from the Han River Boardwalk. One of the first things I noticed was that this doesn't feel like a typical hotel. Instead of a traditional lobby, there's a large communal area with a cafe integrated into the space, which creates a much more casual social atmosphere. It feels modern, colorful, and definitely geared towards a younger crowd. One of my favorite features, and surprisingly something they don't really advertise, is the free use of their washer and dryer, including detergent. I've stayed at this hotel twice in 2 different room categories. The first one we'll look at is the deluxe comfort room. My first impression was how bright and spacious the room felt. When I booked this room, I had no idea what view I'd get. It actually faces the back of the hotel. The view isn't particularly exciting, but the trade-off is that it's much quieter than the rooms in front. The only downside to the rooms here is the bedside table is quite small, and there's not enough power outlets in easy reach. The basin is outside the bathroom, which I personally don't mind. There's plenty of counter space, and it would definitely be used up if 2 people were sharing the room. One thing worth mentioning is that the room size may not exactly match the listing. My booking showed 22 square meters, but this room definitely looked larger, so don't be surprised if there's a bit of variation between rooms. For my second stay, I booked the Comfort City View. The layout is very similar, but this room gives you a little more space and a more interesting view. These extra features add about $10 over the deluxe comfort room. They have a bright dining area with a view of Dragon Bridge. The breakfast buffet setup is nothing fancy like the bigger hotels, but they have the essentials. Breakfast is not automatically included in the room rate. You can choose the room option with breakfast, and it's usually $4 to $8 extra. Definitely worth it if you don't have time to get breakfast outside. For anyone wanting to be based in the city center, I think M Village offers an excellent combination of location, comfort, and value. A few buildings over from M Village Danang Center is the Satya Danang Hotel. It's similar in size with the boutique hotel feel, but Satya is closer to what you expect from a traditional hotel. I booked a premier twin room with a city view. When you first enter, the room is quite dark because of the blackout curtains. My room was on the front side of the hotel, overlooking the pink church. Unfortunately, these architectural panels partially block the view. At 27 square meters, it's actually a good-sized room, but they pack quite a lot in so it doesn't appear as spacious. The design has a bit of a Japanese influence, with a neutral color scheme and a bathroom layout that separates the shower, toilet, and basin into their own spaces. The next room I want to show you is the Premier Double. It's the same size as the Premier Twin, but with one large bed instead of two. This room has a river view. As you can see, it's a limited view, but you can still see the river. For the best view, head up to the Dragon Bar on the 10th floor. From the rooftop, you can get a much better view of the Han River and the city on the opposite side. One of the perks of staying at Satya is that buffet breakfast is included in the room rate. And I have to say, the spread is quite impressive. They seem to have quite a lot of Asian guests, so the breakfast leans more toward Asian-style dishes with plenty of savory options. Right next to the dining section is an area with lounge chairs and a small dipping pool. This is one example where I think the description doesn't quite match reality. It's listed as a swimming pool, but as you can see, it's really more of a dipping pool. Satya is a good mid-range option in an excellent location, ideal for travelers looking for a more traditional hotel experience with facilities like a restaurant, bar, gym, and massage services. A block over on Bakdang Street, right next to the Han River, there are a few big hotels along this road. And to be honest, some of them look a bit outdated, which is why I've never really considered staying here. But for the purpose of this video, I decided to check out the Brilliant Hotel. From the outside, the building didn't look like it had much character, so I was really surprised when I walked into the lobby and saw how modern it was. This is a 4-star hotel, and it's about 13 years old, but they maintain and renovate it every year, which explains why it still looks in new condition. For the room tour, they decided to show me some of their best rooms. We'll start with the Junior Suite Riverfront. I was blown away when I entered this room. It feels much more luxurious than I was expecting, with a classic European style that isn't over the top, which I really appreciate. As a riverfront room, you get a view of the Han River. Unfortunately, it was a gray day when I visited, but on a sunny day, I'm sure the view would be amazing. The bathroom also surprised me, with a separate shower and a clawfoot tub. The whole room just feels like a step above what I normally expect at this price point. And the crazy thing is, you can get a room like this for around $85 in low season, including breakfast. I would have to say that one of the best views of the Han River, Dragon Bridge, and the city skyline is from the rooftop bar. It's especially popular in the evening when the city and bridges light up. The rooftop bar is open to the public, so even if you're not staying at the hotel, it's worth coming up here for a cocktail and taking in the views. The Brilliant Hotel definitely exceeded my expectations. I guess the lesson here is, don't judge a hotel by its exterior. For the price, I think you get really good value here. There are more luxurious room options if you want to upgrade. The river and city views are incredible, and depending on the deal you book, there can be some nice extras included as well. Now let's head over to the beach side. As I mentioned in my previous video, Where to Stay in Danang, the beach side has a very long coastline of more than 10 kilometers. The hotel we're looking at here is the TMS Hotel Danang Beach, located along My Khe Beach, which is the most popular section. I didn't stay at the TMS, but I noticed that it consistently gets high ratings on Agoda, so I decided to go see it for myself. Of all the hotels I've shown so far, this is the largest with 25 floors and 228 rooms and suites. At the time of my visit, they didn't have any ocean view rooms available because those are their best-selling rooms and they were sold out. So I got to look at 2 other room types. Is it all the room this size?
Yeah, I think our hotel is the biggest.
Oh my gosh, look at this, 45 square meters, and this is the city view. Yeah, the city view is nice. The design is quite minimal, with marine blue and soft neutral tones. It feels clean, bright, and modern. I wouldn't say the design itself is particularly striking, but it's practical and there's plenty of space. This next room is the premier partial ocean view. The layout and design are basically the same as the city view rooms. The room designs are fairly standardized, so the main difference between the room categories is the view. This is their little fitness center here. I would definitely recommend staying at TMS. The location, the rooms are like 40 square meters, one of the largest in Danang, and the staff is also very friendly. So I would definitely stay here next time. This is the first time I booked an apartment style accommodation in Danang. So this here is the Taiyo Hotel and Apartments, and it's about 2 blocks from the beach. I booked the run of the house room. This room here is on the 2nd floor and it's a city view. All the rooms here are apartment style, so there's a kitchenette. I was actually surprised that they provided pots, plates, and silverware, because I stayed at places where you get just the stovetop but no kitchenware, so that was a nice surprise. Basically, the kitchen and dining area take up about half of the studio. The other half is the bedroom, and there's also a small desk on that side. What surprised me most was that each studio has its own washer and dryer. This wasn't mentioned in the room description on Agoda, and even if it had been, I probably would have assumed it was a shared laundry setup, similar to M Village. For this particular room, the bathroom is quite tight, but the water pressure is good and everything was sparkling clean. The washer dryer is actually in the kitchen next to the fridge. It's an unusual setup, but it's easier to access than the one in the room I booked. So far, my stay has been pleasant. The bed is very comfortable. I've had a good night's sleep, and the air conditioning is great. They have central aircon, so they have one in the kitchen area and one in the living area, and it's just really nice to have this free flow of aircon. If you're planning to stay in Danang for a longer period, say more than a week, I think this kind of apartment setup is ideal. For the relatively small price difference, I would choose the Deluxe Sea View Studio. It's on a higher floor. You can actually get a view of the sea. I hope this video gives you a clear idea of where you might want to stay and help you with your travel planning. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.